What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to get your kicks to cut through the mix. I had a subscriber ask this question. Shout out to you, you know who you are. Thank you for the question and asking me to make this video. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so there's a couple of things I do to kind of allow the kick to punch through the mix, kind of make it a little more punchier, make it so you can actually hear the kick. Is first, I add a compressor. You can, in any of these techniques you can do without the MPC. You don't need the MPC, and it'll apply to basically everything you use. So whatever you use, you can kind of follow along as long as you have an EQ and a compressor with you. So the first thing I do is I put a compressor on the drums, kind of put it over to a 2-to-1 ratio, put the threshold down just a little bit. You don't want to use too much threshold or too much compression, because then it just kind of ruins the sound and over compresses things. So everything you use it subtly until it sounds like shit, and then back off. And that's when you know that's like a good level for the effect to be at. And another thing is, I make sure it's in the same bus. I put everything through this compressor and put it in bus 1. So that means every sound is in the same bus and it's compressed to the kick. And I don't really mess with any other settings besides the ratio and the threshold. And I just put a compressor on everything else, make sure it's in bus 1. Don't use too much threshold. Keep it kind of light, but enough where you can hear it. And that's really one of the biggest things, is just to give your beat some sidechain compression so you can really hear the kick. And the second most important thing is, if not the most important thing, is the EQ. You want to make sure you carve out a space in the mix for your kick to be heard. So you don't want your bass to be playing at the same frequency as your kick, because then the two will be muddled. You won't be able to really hear which one is the kick and which one's the bass, and you won't be able to really hear them that well. They'll kind of clash together. So you got to carve out a space in the EQ in the mix. So let's just say, for example, my kick is 200 hertz. Over in the bass line, I'm going to subtract that from the EQ, and I'm going to boost whatever I decide I want the bass line to be. So let's just say, for an example, it's 100 hertz above and anything below 200. So let's just say 100 to 199 hertz. We're going to boost that, subtract 200 hertz from the EQ, and then we're going to do that for basically every other sound. Like I have an acapella in here. I'm going to take out 200 hertz just so the kick has room and the acapella isn't clashing with it. You want to make sure everything in the mix has room to breathe and has a space to live in. And then over here in my drum break, which is where my kick is at, I boost 200 hertz. Like I said, where I want my kick to be, and I take out the bass, so the bass line is able to be heard and it doesn't clash and it doesn't sound muddy. And that's basically everything. And everything else, like any other element, you're going to want to do that. So carve out a space in the EQ, and also make sure you have sidechain compression. Everything's in the same bus and everything's compressing, but don't over compress. It won't sound good. Alright guys, I'll also give you an example of what it sounds like when I take these things away versus when I add them, just so you know what I'm talking about and it makes more sense for you guys. And you can really hear the differences and what this really does, and how this makes your kick kind of stand out more in the mix and kind of punch through and give it more power. So I'm going to play a couple more seconds, or a couple seconds of this beat, go through it a little bit, and then take off the effects and then put them back on so you guys can hear the differences. So this is with the effects. Okay, so that's what it sounds like with the effects, and then without it. So you can really notice, like, you can't really hear the kicks that well. It really just sounds really muddy, doesn't sound great in the mix, and it's really subtle. So we're gonna undo that. Everything's back on. Alright, so that's the video. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for staying till the end. And if anything didn't make sense, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to get to it and help you kind of understand the things that you're kind of confused about, and try to go through this video a couple times. So if there's a part that doesn't make sense, you can kind of clarify it. Thank you for watching. Shout out to the subscriber who asked for this video. And if you guys want more tips and tricks for production and beat making, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Solstice Beats. Peace out.